Hi, good morning, everyone. It's always a pleasure to be a part of CII and be presenting some exciting new technologies that we've been working on. And given that it was on a challenge faced by the plating industry, we decided to pick up on a topic of electroless nickel. The whole bath dumping on a regular basis seems to be an issue in many aspects. Firstly, it generates a lot of waste. Secondly, there's a huge downtime associated with it, which affects the productivity in a huge manner. So we have a technology of Eden, which stands for electrodialysis for electroless nickel. We're going to cover some of the limitations associated with the electroless nickel system currently, certain solutions that have been explored in the past, the overview of the Eden system, and of course there are cost benefits, not only related to the energy part of it, but also with the waste and the entire portfolio, and how it's a proven technology worldwide. So starting with some of the limitations, before we go to the limitations, there are obviously certain positives about the whole electroless single system, wherein we get a very uniform sort of a coating, which is not available or which cannot be done with certain other electrolytic processes. And it allows us to plate very difficult surface geometries, I would say, and of course provides a high wear resistance and multiple applications from barrel for mass productions as well as plates on multiple substrates. Now coming to the limitations part of it, as we all know, there are certain byproducts generated during the whole process, which is majorly the orthophosphite part of it, and along with that, there's a certain amount of sodium and sulfates as well. This again limits the whole bath life from 5 to 10 MTOs, depending upon the kind of process that we are dealing with. In turn, what it does is that it actually lowers the whole productivity point of view, right? So we have limitations with the amount of microns we can deposit in a certain amount of time, and hence that does not really allow us to be able to plate in automatic lines. So if the deposition rate keeps dropping, we obviously cannot run in an auto production, right? And certain adjustments need to be made in terms of the pH and temperature to make sure that it keeps running well throughout the bath life. Over the course of each MTO, about 40 grams of orthophosphate is developed, and when it reaches a threshold, we then have to dump the bath and move on to a fresh makeup. So what happens in all of this is that we have a consistent decrease of the plating rate, the corrosion resistance goes down, and the internal stress keeps coming up. So in overall, we can say that the quality keeps depleting over the entirety of the bath life, and as well as hampers the entire productivity that we can get from the line. Now, this has been a problem for ages, right? People have looked for opportunities to address the issue. A few opportunities, the few options that came about was probably a sulfate-free electroless nickel, chemical precipitation, ion exchangers using multiple resins and things like that. But the two most popular aspects of it were the feed and bleed and the electrodialysis part of it. A little bit on the feed and bleed, it does work. It is widely accepted. It was widely accepted in the R&D industry, and it is able to maintain the bath in a steady state, wherein you get all the deposit parameters which are required very consistently, as well as delivering a very good deposition rate. But then again, the downside was a huge amount of waste production, and of course, that led to increasing costs as well. Herein comes the electrodialysis for electroless nickel. And it is now recovering all the wastes that are being produced simultaneously during the production of, during the running of the electroless nickel process. It just takes out the byproducts, and replenish it back so as to maintain a steady state in the working condition of it can be decided whichever parameter or whatever MTO suits to be delivering consistent results for any application that can be chosen, and then that can be continued for a long period of time. Again, from a bath life perspective, it is we can say it can never end if managed in the right way. It leads to much less wastage of nickel. Again, one of our core minerals, which should be looking at preserving, and it's a patented technology for MK Saturtech. Now, a little more into the Eden system. So how we look at the entire system is the bath module being the brain of it, the working module as the heart, and the entire membrane module as the kidney. And this is how we relate it to a human body as well. So what goes through an entirety is that we are able to maintain the nickel concentration consistently, and it does not let it drop much. So you get the consistency in terms of deposit parameters, and also the hypo and the number of MTOs. Whatever MTOs we are looking at, maybe 2, maybe 2.5, which is the sweet spot, can be maintained for a long period of time. It's mentioned as 25 MTOs over here, but then we are looking at nothing less than 500 MTOs at least. And also, it keeps the hypo under control. So benefit, as I've already mentioned, it gives you the consistency of a high plating rate, allows you to work at higher loading ratios, which is again a challenge after a certain bath life. Of course, higher yield, less reworks, and less downtime. So we lose on productivity when we go into all the tank stripping and the whole refurbishment of the thing. And again, giving you consistency of the quality throughout. Corrosion resistance, internal stress get maintained. Reiterating the same thing, higher productivity, consistency of the quality, and in terms of automation. Now, this I think is the most important part of it, that you can actually run an electroless nickel line with this system in automatic conditions. It gives you obviously a lot of stability, and a lesser amount of maintenance is involved in the bath. And at the end of the day, we are looking at increasing productivity for sure. Now, let's have a look at a few cost benefits from the Eden system. So in terms of waste volumes, we're looking at 35% lesser. In terms of hypo, it's almost 75% lesser generated. And in nickel, which I would say is the biggest savings, we almost save up to 65% of the entire nickel coming out from every electroless nickel bath. And at an overall level, we can say from the entire cost of ownership perspective that we save almost 20% of the overall cost. Now, this is a slight bit of a comparison between how the standard system works, how the feed and bleed, and how the Eden system would tend to give in terms of cost savings, or rather in terms of operation as well. And we can see that the feed and bleed system leads to almost 21% higher cost than the traditional system, and with the Eden, there's a possibility of saving up to 74%, 26% of operational costs. Again, the processes, we have the entire portfolio ranging from low, mid to high phosphorus contents. And these are all ELV, ROHS, WEEE compliant. Again, as I've mentioned, the nickel waste is 65% lesser. And what's interesting is that it's been more than 10 years that such a system is already in industrial use. From a proven technology point of view, I think this is imperative for the automotive industry. Because we are looking at churning out high volumes and at a consistent level of quality. So the adoption in the automotive industry has been excellent. We have in totality 22 of such equipments running currently, 18 of them in Europe, 4 of them in Japan, and interestingly, 11 of them are with the automotive industry, and one for the hydrogen application as well, because nowadays we are looking at huge volumes being churned out from the hydrogen perspective. And again, of course, the entire idea is to have consistency and delivering higher yield. So to summarize, I think this is something that is the need of the hour. It allows you to produce much better quality for consistently a long period of time. And the productivity from this line is really incomparable. And as I mentioned earlier, it's a proven technology, and we look forward to having a couple of them in India soon. That's all from my end. Thank you so much.